This is Spanish Heart 18, and here is my unboxing and review of XM Studios' quarter scale comic version Wolverine. The edition size is 950. I managed to get a low number of 131 and also managed to score the limited edition coin that came with roughly half of the total run. It's my very first XM piece and I'm really excited to see what the hype is all about. So will it live up to the hype? Let's find out. Opening up the shipper box, we find an envelope with instructions for registering your statue on the XM site, a helpful diagram of the packed statue, and the 16.5 by 12 3/4 inch art print from Studio Hive. The outer box is impressive. It's made out of a high density cardboard often found in protecting audio equipment and musical instruments. Beneath that, we get the two straps that securely straps in the styrofoam cover, so your statue won't be jostled around during transportation, which is a really impressive feat of packaging by XM. I'm really impressed by that. Lifting off the styrofoam cover, we have a top layer of styrofoam with the Wolverine body, the 3 claws, the left ocular piece with the wires, and the wire for the mouth on the sentinel base. Underneath that layer lies the battle damaged sentinel base, the 3 head sculpts, the light up ocular pieces, and the limited edition coin. So when wrapping the body, I have to say it feels really solid and heavy. Here's the left switch out ocular piece, and I have to say it's really quality. There's real copper wires in the center. Here's the wire for the mouth of the sentinel base, and again it's made out of a real copper wire in the center. Here's the limited edition coin, and this was the coin that came roughly with half of the entire production run, but it seems that XM will discontinue offering the coin right after Thor, so that's a bummer. Here's the masked sculpt. It was sculpted by Martin Augusta, and in hand I have to say it's a really solid sculpt. I love the paint apps, they're all clean. There's nary a misplaced paint line, and yeah, it looks really nice and clean. I love the wrinkles in the mask, and I love the streamlined look of the fins. I like it better than the more of a protruding aesthetic that the premium format in the comic had. As for the monotooth issue, you know what? It is noticeable up close. I don't think they really fixed it as far as like from the first batch, but in hand and just seeing it up close personally, it isn't that big of an issue. I mean, if you're gonna view your statues, really close, like to the point of almost kissing it, it will bug you if you have a high OC. But I mean, in hand, it doesn't look too bad. But I have to say it does knock the statue down a notch. So here we have the Unmasked Feral Sculpt, and I have to say that it's my favorite of the 3 heads, and it looks absolutely savage. I feel that it perfectly encapsulates Wolverine as a character, wild and uncontrollable. I think Eric Sosa was consulted in sculpting, but he didn't actually do the actual sculpting. Looking at the nose, I mean, some people didn't like the prominent nose, but to me it makes sense because he's a tracker and has a strong sense of smell. I will say that the teeth does look a little too white. I mean, it's almost like he just came home from the dentist. Maybe his healing factor applies to his teeth as well. I don't know. But I think it should be more filthy just due to his drinking habit and his cigar smoking. And looking at the hair, it does have like a real flat matte kind of finish, but it's really well sculpted. You can see the lines, and it gives it this sort of depth to it. You can see like these brown highlights, and yeah, it really pops. Finally, we have the Unmasked calm head, and to me, it's the weakest of the three. I mean, I feel it doesn't fit the overall feel of the statue. It's a nice option to have, and I think it was included out of respect for the original sculptor, at least according to XM. A lot of collectors weren't really enthused with this head, but I think it'll look good when paired with the Jean Grey premium format from Sideshow, since it might be the face that only she can love. Again, it's well sculpted. You can see the hair in the button chops, the flat finish, and the prominent nose. A lot of collectors have been interested in making custom heads, and with the ease of the switch out heads, you know, that's an easy option to have. It's an expense, but it's nice to know that a lot of people are supporting this statue and are interested in making custom heads for this statue. So here are both the left and the right claws. I'm really impressed with the chrome metal claws. It really exudes high quality. It's cool to the touch, and it's properly aligned. It's straight and it's durable. It's sharp enough to be wary about young children possibly getting hurt and running into it and bumping into it. So you should watch out for that. And I love the way the light seems to just twinkle off of the metal claws, and it just screams quality, a quality product. I mean, as opposed to, say, claws that are made out of plastic or resin, which are really oftentimes misaligned and fragile. You know, that totally detracts from the statue. I like the design flourishes, such as the buckles and the weathered pattern on the gloves. The claw with the punctured sentinel eye looks very impressive in hand. I'm really impressed with XM's attention to detail, going so far as to use real copper wires. And finally, we have the two light-up ocular switch-out pieces. It was really ingenious of XM to design these pieces to be easily swapped out, just to change the batteries. It guarantees that your statue won't plummet in value due to broken light-up features. I mean, you just pull out the tabs, flick the switch, and voila, it works. So with all the parts out of the box, I'm gonna put them all together and see how he looks. So this is the damaged sentinel base, and putting it all together, we lift this faceplate up, which is magnetized. You lift it up and you just place one of the light up ocular pieces into the groove and just line it up with the marker in order to allow it to be magnetized and securely in place. And then just replace the faceplate. As simple as that. And for this eye, you just stick in the groove. I'm going with the regular non-light up version to just slide in with the magnet. And for this wiring coming from the mouth, it's attached by a magnet as well. So yeah, it's just really easy to put together. And yeah, really easy. So to put the body onto the base, Wolverine has a long metal rod, which is really strong. There's no issue of leaning whatsoever. So basically just line it up, put it into the peg, put his right foot onto the indentation below the mouth. So you basically just line it up, like so, and let's slide in. But you just have to kind of make it aligned. So there. The base is extremely detailed and fits along with the other XM X-Men statues to create a diorama of a destroyed Sentinel. So to add the finishing touches, we just need to put in the claws and the head. So we'll go with the right hand and the left hand. I'm going with the clean version since the eye is still here. And we'll go with the masked head. Just simple magnets. Just easy. So there we have Wolverine, clawed up, and masked. My introduction to Wolverine was through the old classic X-Men reprints with the beautiful cover art by Steve Lytle. My most memorable and earliest memory of Wolverine was with him and the X-Men getting their asses kicked by the Hellfire Club. I can remember Wolverine just working his way through the sewers, working his way up to the headquarters and just tearing through henchmen and finally getting his revenge against Leland. That panel of Wolverine just leaping down on him, about to strike the death blow, was so badass and was one of the most defining childhood memories of him. And ever since then, I've been a fan. So after putting everything together, I have to say I am utterly and completely blown away by the overall look of the statue. Both the masked and feral heads both captured the character of Wolverine and his constant struggle of being in control and losing control. The feral head shows him at his most brutal and in the midst of a berserker rage. The sculpted details are immaculately brought out by the clean and clear paint apps. There's nary a hint of overspray or shoddy line work. The muscles look as if they're bulging out of the costume. You can see the ripples and the stitching of the suit within the sculpt. It doesn't look like painted skin at all. I love XM's modernized design of the classic yellow suit, from the zipper behind the boots, to the metallic sheen of the shoulder guards, the buckles of the arm guards, and the ribbed texture on the abdomen and the inner thighs. I think XM successfully manages to bring out the contemporary while still paying homage to the classic design. The semi-glossy finish of the suit and the metal claws really make this statue pop. A huge plus are the numerous switch-out options that are available for display. You can mix and match to get your ideal Wolverine. You can even use the comm head for a little sexy time with the upcoming Jean Grey or the XM Phoenix statues. I do have a couple of nitpicks that prevent this statue from reaching Magneto's upper tier in terms of quality. First off are the hairs behind the arms. They were painted through a stencil, hence the uniform almost scaly appearance when viewed up close. I think this is one of the few aspects that the Sideshow premium format has over the XM statue. I wished that XM went with the sculpted hairs, but I think it was too far along in development to do so. But I do find it strange that for all the hair talk, people might have glossed over the lack of armpit hair. The second issue is the teeth. For the masked head, there is the monotooth and the uniform look of the teeth. There isn't too much of a distinction between the different kinds of teeth, which I felt the premium format did a better job with. It's almost reminiscent of, say, the Sideshow Collectibles Cyclops premium format, in that Tony C sculpted the EX head with with the teeth almost uniform, almost looking like dentures. So it's kind of reminiscent in that way, but it isn't as bad. For the feral head, I think the teeth are far too white and pearly for a beer swiggling, cigarette smoking adventurer. Maybe his healing factor regenerates healthy teeth? Who knows? So here is my current display with the Sideshow Collectibles premium format Cyclops. And I have to say they scale well together, with Wolverine standing about 17.5 inches tall and Cyclops about 19.5. I love having them like posed side by side like BFFs / frenemies, just like the good old days when the X-Men were still relevant and none of this schism bullshit. I have the 75th anniversary cover posters that Alex Ross did for Marvel displayed behind them. Basically, I'm just kind of waiting for the XM Phoenix to complete my display, so I can't wait for her to come in. I may still pick up the Sideshow Jean Grey later down the line, but I don't think it's a priority for me right now. So overall, I have to say that I am utterly impressed by XM Studios' classic Wolverine statue. I mean, with all the switch options, the sculpted details, the stellar paint apps, and the fresh art direction, I highly recommend picking up this guy if you can find him at retail or close to retail like I did. A couple of small questionable design choices do knock this statue down a peg from Magneto's upper tier in terms of quality. So would I spend close to $2,000 US in the aftermarket? That's a really tough question that only hardcore Wolverine fans can answer. With Wolverine being such a popular character, I feel that there are future iterations such as the brown outfit from Sideshow and from XM once the X-Men property rights between Marvel, Disney, and Fox are settled. And also there are other options. There are other high quality pieces out there, such as the Legendary Scale, the Premium Format, the Comiquettes from Sideshow, the Resin Works Wolverine vs. the Ninjas, which really looks awesome, and the Troy McDevitt piece. But personally, I don't think I'd be able to overpay to that amount that it's asking for currently. Yeah, I mean, like, for $1,000 more, you can probably pick up a Magneto on Throne or a Doom on Throne if you're lucky. And those are grails in this community. So, yeah. But for those who do decide to pick up the statue, I mean, what you're getting is a really solid quality piece in terms of art design, in terms of build, in terms of quality, in terms of paint apps. You know, it's the best overall Wolverine statue to date, I find, or I feel. Yeah, I don't regret this purchase at all. I'm blown away just by the quality, and yeah, XM, I think you have a fan in me. So with all that said, that's the end of my review for the XM Studios quarter scale classic Wolverine statue. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.